So hi there students, welcome back to another video lesson. So after nating i-discuss yung topics on quadratic equations, so for this particular video lesson, we will be studying on how to illustrate and solve quadratic inequalities. So let's start. So our lesson objectives are, first, to define and illustrate quadratic inequality. Next, we will be solving quadratic inequality. So let's have quadratic inequality. An inequality of degree 2 is called a quadratic inequality. So if you can recall, yung quadratic equation, degree 2 din siya. Kaya lang, we're talking about inequality here. And then, a quadratic inequality can be written in the following forms. Ayan. So, kung yung quadratic equation, sinusulat natin siya in standard form like ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, wherein gumamit tayo ng equality symbol. So, for quadratic inequality, so there are 4 different forms that we can write a quadratic inequality. So, yung una po, ax squared plus bx plus c is greater than 0. And then, ax squared plus bx plus c is greater than or equal to 0. We also have ax squared plus bx plus c is less than 0. And of course, ax squared plus bx plus c is less than or equal to 0. And then, where a, b, and c are real numbers, and a should not be equal to 0. So, kung matatandaan nyo nga po, dun sa quadratic equation, so isa lang po yung standard form of equation niya. So, dito po, 4. So, using the 4 inequality symbols. So, how do we solve quadratic inequality? In solving quadratic inequality, we first solve the roots of the corresponding equality. So, ang ibig sabihin lang po niyan, so, itatransform po natin yung mga quadratic inequality into quadratic equations para ma-solve po yung roots. And then, on the number line, plot the points corresponding to the roots of the equality. This will separate the number line into 2 or 3 intervals. So, after po nating makuha yung roots, so ang gagawin naman po natin next is ipa-plot po natin yung points base dun sa mga nakuha nating roots. So, magkakaroon po siya ng mga tinatawag na intervals. So, sa quadratic inequality po kasi, magkakaroon po tayo dito ng infinite na solution. Okay. So, yung intervals na yan, so makikita nyo po yan sa susunod na mga slides. So, para mas maging familiar kayo dun sa intervals na sinasabi ko kanina, let's have example number 1. Find the solution set of x squared plus 7x plus 10 is greater than 0. So, ang una po natin gagawin is, itatransform po natin yung inequality into quadratic equations. So, para makuha po yung roots. So, ang gagawin natin, sulat lang po natin ulit yung equation, x squared plus 7x plus 10 equals 0 na po. Kasi tinransform natin po siya into equation. And then, we factor x squared plus 7x plus 10 is equal to 0. So, what are the factors of 10 that when added will give a sum of 7, the coefficient of the middle term? So, yung mga factors po ng 10 ay 5 and 2. So, we write it as x plus 5 times x plus 2 is equal to 0. Next, we equate each term to 0. So, magiging x plus 5 is equal to 0. And then, x plus 2 is equal to 0. And then, x plus 5 is equal to 0 will become x equals negative 5. And then, yung isa naman, x plus 2 is equal to 0, magiging x equals negative 2. So, ibig sabihin po niyan, yung mga nakuha po nating value ng x, yun po yung ipa-plot po natin sa number line. So, yung mga nakuha nating roots kanina na x is equal to negative 5 and negative 2, ipa-plot natin ngayon sa number line. So, para mas makita ninyo yung mga interval. Okay, so, ang mangyayari po, so, yung negative 5, ayan po siya. And then, yung negatives 2 naman, nandito po. So, as you can see, open dot po sila pareho. It's because, kapag po greater than, o kaya less than, wala pong or equal to nakasunod, so, puro po sila open dot. So, kapag may equal to na na nakasunod, yung open dot po magiging close dot. So, let's have the first interval. So, yung nasa left side po ng -5 is yung -6, -7, -8, and so on. So, up to -infinity. So, yung unang interval po is x is less than -5. Yung pangalawa naman po, yung nasa gitna ng -5 and 2. So, that is x is less than -2 but greater than -5. And then yung mga nasa right side ng -2, -1, 0, 1, and up to a positive infinity, susulat naman po natin yun as x is greater than -2. And then ngayon, pipili tayo, kukuha tayo ng mga test points na isa-substitute natin dun sa given inequality. Kapag nag-true, ibig sabihin, part of the solution po siya. So, solution set. Kapag naman po false, hindi po siya solution. Okay, let's have x is less than -5. So, ang kukunin natin yung kasunod ng -5 na mas mababa is -6. So, isa-substitute lang natin yung -6 sa given inequality. Okay, so -6 squared, that is positive 36. And then, 7 times -6, that is -42. Plus 10 is greater than 0. And then, we combine like terms. So, 36 plus 10, that is 46. Plus, -42 is greater than 0. 46 plus -42, that is 4, is greater than 0. As you can see, 4 is greater than 0, so true po yan. Next, so ano naman ang kukunin natin na value between -5 and -2? So kunin natin yung -3. Okay, so -3 squared, that is positive 9, plus 7 times -3, that is -21, plus 10 is greater than 0. And then we combine like terms. 19, so 9 plus 10, that is 19, plus -21 is greater than 0. So 19 plus -21, that is -2, greater than 0. Is -2 greater than 0? No. So mas mataas po yung 0 sa mga negative integers. So false po siya. And the last one naman po, x is greater than -2. So kunin natin yung 0 para mas madali. 0 squared plus 7 times 0 plus 10 is greater than 0. So, 0 squared, that is 0. 7 times 0, that is also 0. So, ang matitira na lang po is 10 greater than 0. Is 10 greater than 0? Yes, mas mataas po yung 10 kaysa sa 0. So, true po siya. So, lahat ng nag-true, yun po yung part ng solution set. So, yung ating solution po dito is x is less than -5 or x is greater than -2. So, hindi po kasama yung nasa gitna na x is less than -2 but greater than -5 kasi po nagkaroon po ng false. So, again po, ito po yung ating solution. So, let's have the next example. Find the solution set of x squared minus 5x minus 24 is less than 0. So, ganun pa rin. Sulat natin yung inequality as an equation. So, x squared minus 5x minus 24 equals 0. And then we factor this equation. So, what are the factors of -24 that when added will give a sum of -5? So, yung mga factors po ng -24 na magbibigay ng -5 are -8 and 3. So, we write them as x minus 8 times x plus 3 equals 0. And then we equate each term to 0. So, x minus 8 is equal to 0. So, we add 8 to both sides. So, x equals 8. And then we subtract 3 from both sides. So, x equals -3. So, yung mga nakuha nating roots na to, ipa-plot natin sa number line. So, x equals 8 and x is equal to negative 3. So, yung 8, so, ipa-plot natin sila, tsaka yung negative 3. So, nandito yung 8. And then, yung negative 3 naman, eto. So, since less than pa rin naman yung ating wala pang equal to sa baba, so, open dot pa rin po yung ating mga circle. Okay. So, next. So, using the interval, so, sa left side ng negative 3, the interval will be x is less than negative 3. And then, yung sa gitna ng negative 3 and 8, that is x is less than 8 but greater than negative 3. And then, sa right side naman ng 8, okay, so, x is greater than 8. So, now, let's start. Sa x is less than negative 3, so, ang kukunin nating test point is negative 4. Okay. So, magiging negative 4 squared minus 5 times negative 4 minus 24 is less than 0. Negative 4 squared, that is 16. And then negative 5 times negative 4, that is positive 20, minus 24 is less than 0. Okay. And then 16 plus 20, that is 36. Minus 24, that is 12. 12 is less than 0. That is false. 12 is greater than 0. Okay, hindi po pwede maging less than. Next. Sa pagitan naman ng negative 3 tsaka 8, so, lagi natin kukunin dyan as long as nakikita natin nasa gitna yung 0 para mas mabilis. So, magiging 0 squared minus 5 times 0 minus 24 is less than 0. So, 0 squared, that is 0. Negative 5 times 0, that is also 0. So, negative 24 is less than 0. Is this correct? Yes. Next, x is greater than 8. So, ang kukunin natin, yung kasunod ng 8 na mas mataas sa kanya is 9. So, that will become 9 squared minus 5 times 9 minus 24 is greater than 0. So, 9 squared, that is 81. Negative 5 times 9, that is negative 45. Minus 24 is less than 0. So, 81 minus 45, that is 36. Minus 24, that is 12. Less than 0. Is 12 less than 0? No. Kailangan greater than 0 po. So, this will be false. So, based dyan sa mga sinubstitute natin, so, nag-true lang siya dun sa interval na x is less than 8 but greater than negative 3. So, ibig sabihin, yun po yung ating solution set. Okay, so kapag pina-enumerate sa inyo kung ano ba yung mga possible values of x that is less than 8 but greater than negative 3, so pwede nating isagot negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So, ito lang po yung solusyon ng ating given inequality from negative 2 to 7. Next, example number 3. Find the solution set of 2x squared minus 9x minus 18 is greater than or equal to 0. So, dito po yung ating inequality symbol, meron na siyang or equal to sa baba. Okay. So, again, i-transform natin yung given inequality into equation. So, magiging 2x squared minus 9x minus 18 equals 0. As you can see, yung numerical coefficient ng ax squared is not equal to 1. So, ang mangyayari, i-multiply natin yung numerical coefficient ng a dun sa constant term. So, that will become 2 times negative 18, negative 36. Ngayon, hahanap tayo ng factors ng negative 36 na kapag pinag-add, lilitaw yung negative 9. So, yung mga factors ng negative 36 na pag pinag-add, lilitaw yung negative 9 are negative 12 tsaka 3. So, and then ngayon susulat natin as x minus 12 times x plus 3 equals 0. So, yung next na gagawin natin, i-divide natin yung mga constant term dito sa mga nasa parentheses dun sa numerical coefficient ng given equation, which is 2. So, i-divide natin yon by 2. So, 12 divided by 2 or negative 12 divided by 2, that is negative 6. So, magiging x minus 6. And then, we cannot divide 3 by 2 nang walang remainder. So, ang gagawin natin, yung 2, itatabi lang natin sa x. So, magiging 2x plus 3 and then equals 0. Then, yung next na gagawin natin, equate natin yung bawat term sa 0. So, x minus 6 is equal to 0. We add 6 to both sides. So, x equals 6. So, ito po yung isang root natin. And then, we subtract 3 from both sides. Magiging 2x equals negative 3. And then, we divide the whole equation by 2. So, x equals negative 3 over 2. So, yung isang nating root po is fractions. So, ang next na gagawin po natin ngayon is isa-substitute po natin yung mga nakuha nating roots sa number line. So, para mas makita natin yung interval. So, ipa-plot natin yung negative 3 over 2. So, yung negative 3 over 2, so kapag change natin yan sa mixed number, that is negative 1 and 1/2. So, ibig sabihin, yung negative 3 over 2, nasa pagitan siya ng negative 2 and negative 1. So, paano yon? Nandito po siya sa gitna ng negative 2 and negative 1. Okay. So, since yung ating inequality symbol may equal to na sa baba, so, hindi na po siya open dot. So, close dot na po, pareho. Next, yung isa naman, yung 6. So, positive 6, ito po siya. So, again, close dot din po siya. And then, paano natin kukunin intervals? Ayan. So, sa left side ng negative 3 over 2, that will become x is less than or equal to negative 3 over 2. And then, sa gitna naman, x is less than or equal to 6, but greater than or equal to negative 3 over 2. And then, sa right side ng 6, that will become x is greater than or equal to 6. So, kukuha tayo ngayon ng test points. So, dito sa left side, so x is less than or equal to negative 3 over 2, ang kukunin natin is yung negative 2. So, let's substitute negative 2 to the given inequality. So, 2 times negative 2 squared minus 9 times negative 2 minus 18 is greater than or equal to 0. So, 2 times negative 2 squared, that is positive 4. And then negative 9 times negative 2, that is positive 18, minus 18 is greater than or equal to 0. Next, 2 times 4, that is 8. Plus 18 minus 18, that is 0, is greater than or equal to 0. And then 8 plus 0, that is 8 is greater than or equal to 0. Is 8 greater than or equal to 0? Of course. So, true po dito ang isusulat natin. Next. Sa pagitan naman ng negative 3 over 2 tsaka 6, so, nandun yung 0. So, 0 po yung kukunin natin. So, 2 times 0 squared minus 9 times 0 minus 18 is greater than or equal to 0. So, again, kapag pinerform po natin yan, any number multiply to 0, the answer is 0. So, ang matitira na lang po is negative 18 is greater than or equal to 0. So, this is false. So, mas mataas po yung 0 kaysa sa negative 18. Next, x is greater than or equal to 6. So, kukunin natin yung kasunod ng 6 na mas mataas, which is 7. So, magiging 2 times 7 squared minus 9 times 7 minus 18 is greater than or equal to 0. And then 2 times 7 squared, that is 49. Negative 9 times 7, that is negative 63. Minus 18 is greater than or equal to 0. So 2 times 49, that is 98. So negative 63 minus 18, that is negative 81, is greater than or equal to 0. 98 minus 81, that is 17, is greater than or equal to 0. This is true. So nag-true siya dun sa interval na x is less than or equal to negative 3 over 2, saka x is greater than or equal to 6. So yun po yung ating solution set. So sulat natin, x is less than or equal to negative 3 over 2, or x is greater than or equal to 6. So let's have the last example. Find the solution set of x squared minus 25 is less than or equal to 0. So, rewrite lang natin as equation, x squared minus 25 equals 0. And then extracting the square roots, so magiging x squared equals 25. And then we extract the square root of both sides. So, x is equal to positive negative 5. So, ito po yung mga roots ng ating given equation. So, ipa-plot natin ngayon yung mga roots na yan sa number line. So, i-plot muna natin ngayon yung mga nakuha nating roots kanina. So, which are negative 5 and 5. So, negative 5, close dot po. Same with positive 5. Next, pili tayo ng mga test points. So, since may mga equal to sa baba yung ating mga interval, pwede natin mismong kunin yung mga yon. Like for example, x is less than or equal to negative 5, pwede natin mismong kunin yung negative 5. So, magiging negative 5 squared minus 25 is greater than or equal to 0. So, negative 5 squared, that is 25. Minus 25 is greater than or equal to 0. So, 25 minus 25, that is 0, is greater than 0, greater than or equal to 0. This is true. Next, between negative 5 and 5, kunin natin yung 0. So, 0 squared, that is 0. So, matitira lang po is negative 25 is greater than or equal to 0, which is false. 0 is greater than negative 25. Not negative 25 is greater than or equal to 0. Next, x is greater than or equal to 5. Kunin natin yung 5. Okay. So, bakit natin kinuha yung parehong mismong number? Kasi po may equal to sa baba. So, kapag hindi nyo po nakita yung equal to sa baba, so x is greater than 5, ang kukunin po natin na pinakamababa na greater than 5 is 6. Okay. So, 5 squared, that is 25, minus 25 is greater than 0. So, 0 is greater than or equal to 0, which is true. Okay. So, yung solution po natin dito, x is less than or equal to negative 5, or x is greater than or equal to 5. So after we illustrate and solve quadratic inequality, so our next topic will be solving problems involving quadratic inequality. So I hope may natutunan kayo sa topic natin about solving quadratic inequality. Okay. So maging aware lang po tayo dun sa mga inequality symbols na ginagamit. Okay? So yun lang. Maraming salamat.